I'm Jenna.
Hello, I'm Gloria. We
We are
are
Worthy
Worthy
Wellness.
Wellness because we are worth it.
Our purpose is to introduce women entrepreneurs, products, and services while proceeds help women in need for holistic care and therapy services.
Welcome, ladies.
So today we're going to be hosting part 2 of my partner Jenna's story, and she's going to be able to continue talking about her journey, about her nonprofit, and really get into the help that she does with domestic violence survivors. So I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be very informative. So this is Jenna's part 2.
So I know in part 1, I talked about traveling was like my therapeutic journey. I guess I could really go into detail with that. I mean, when you are outside of your comfort zone, you are automatically in survival mode. So you are trying to get by in every way, shape, or form and not rely on a source. And you get into that fight, flight, fright type of response when you are a victim and when you are a survivor. So it's kind of putting you in that place, but forcing me because I'm overseas and having to figure it out. But I guess the tools that I can share that are similar to maybe a retreat that we have. So a retreat is a really nice setting that automatically gives you that relaxation, that peace. You're surrounded by nature, positive, uplifting people around, commonly practicing the same type of either if it's yoga or maybe breath work, journaling. So I've taken some, Vipassana meditation, 10-day retreat out in Australia at Blackheath. So you had to turn in your reading material, your writing, your phone. So I couldn't have my book, my journal. I mean, I just only could meditate and be amongst nature, and went on walks and had all natural food with herbs and vegetables. And in Korea, I studied Raja Yoga and got certified. That really helped me learn about the philosophy of yoga. I integrate that into therapy. However, I haven't taught yoga classes as a group. So the philosophy and really applying it in my learning, in my practice, and for myself really helped me learn how to heal, how to rejuvenate, and you can apply it later and teach it or just carry it on as a practice within myself. So that was also another healing form that has been effective for me. That setting really sets up when you go to a spa, same thing. You have self-care, you're in the spa room and you're maybe reading, relaxing, maybe you go get a facial massage, but it's automatically setting up that environment. So essentially, no matter where you are, whether you're traveling or you're here living domestically and getting yourself established, you can set up your environment anywhere. You can go to the park and you could sit on the grass, grounding, the beach, the dirt, the grass. Those are all really good earth minerals, and it just refuels your body. Hydrate, drink healthy beverages, eat healthy, something natural, not processed. Try to stay clean, sober. Sometimes we lean on substances rather than the health foods, but that will be more of a depressant, or you have a stimulant and then a crash. So it's not really a happy balance, and that's what you want to find, is that harmony. So I would get in the rhythm of traveling and the groove of just setting that environment up and establishing myself in a community where I felt safe. I even grew an organic garden with some friends. I would volunteer. I would feed the homeless and volunteer at an orphanage, play with some children, bought some birthday gifts. So by focusing in on other purposes and leaning on, like I mentioned, the appreciation and gratitude, I realized that there are problems that occur. There's some unfortunate experiences that happen, but now it makes it even more of a reason to add more amazing experiences and lean on that. And as Matthew 19:26 says, with God, all things are possible. So I keep leaning on that. I have that framed in my home. I also had it in my office at some point, and that really got me through these past 2 years. I've been in some obstacles. So I haven't been able to travel. I've been staying domestically, but you find something that is doable around your home. Maybe it's a park or beach or somewhere near you, and just set up that type of routine. So I just kind of wanted to share a couple things that I did overseas and what you can do locally as well.
Can you explain to our listeners the different types of domestic violence, please?
So I would like to go into a few definitions or clarity on what domestic violence abuse is before actually going into what the DV Survivor campaign is all about for my nonprofit. So firstly, domestic violence and the abuse could be with different types of relationships. It doesn't necessarily need to be that intimate, loving relationship with your partner. It could also be a relationship amongst siblings, amongst a parent and child, someone that you live with, or even those that are in relationship that you don't live with, but perhaps are getting abused in that intimate relationship. So it could be with different sex and race and socioeconomic background. It could be a type of culture abuse as well. Sometimes we think of abuse only being physical, but that's not true. There is also emotional, verbal, that social isolation and financial abuse is also very real. When someone is intentionally trying to isolate you or be codependent with bad intentions, could be very harmful, and you're having no choice but to surrender to that person trying to control and manipulate, maybe a form of blaming, shaming, gaslighting. It encompasses all of that. So again, physical, emotional, verbal. Neglect is also a form of abuse. So if a child doesn't have clean nails or clean clothes, maybe there's holes or it's dirty, maybe lice in the hair, neglect of love for a parent versus child or siblings, that is also a form of abuse. Sexual, financial. So that is amongst different relationships of who you work with. So of course there is the work environment to be alarming for as far as abuse, but what I focus in on my campaign is the domestic violence for those that have their relationships or living with people that are abusing that person, that victim that's in that household.
And Jenna, I'm going to ask you a tough question, and you don't have to answer it, but have you had any personal experience with domestic violence?
Yes, I am a survivor of abuse. It has been with intimate partners, someone who I've dated, someone who I was with in a relationship, and another case when I was an au pair abroad. So I've had 3 different situations, and one I have an experience with filing a police report. And I know that there's that fear of, first of all, if you are a victim, a survivor, you are in fear of the abuser coming to harm you again or revengeful. But when you file report, that is putting evidence down on record. And if anything ever escalates, you have that recorded and by the proper steps of the law. So I know in different countries, there's different laws and regulation.
So I'm not really speaking on a global perspective, but from the experience I've had, particularly with helping a survivor, there were more resources available when you file a report. You have advocates, you have financial assistance, and sometimes housing assistance, or for someone to help guide you in the path of what you're needing help with, maybe daycare for children. So it's important to communicate your need as a survivor, because sometimes we don't know what resources are out there or who can actually help us. So I understand it's about who you trust and where you go. So maybe speaking to someone that you do trust, a family member, a friend, maybe you're in an educational setting, a counselor, a teacher that you are comfortable of telling, a medical professional as a mandated reporter. Sometimes we get in situations where we have an authoritative figure, whether it's a therapist, a police person, someone that can help guide that path in an authoritative way, because they're mandated reporters. And so if you don't want to go directly, then you can have that professional help report on your behalf, or you could report anonymously. But just look at it as being a positive outcome, that you can utilize resources that are available. You have evidence that's recorded, because if you do not have evidence, sometimes it could be challenging to prove what has happened in certain incidents. And it's doing that legwork to really find out what is available. And if you don't know, then someone might. And that's the first step of courage, and not letting fear get in the way. Because if you do nothing, that is also harmful, because then you get no help, and then you will remain a victim, or isolated, or stuck, trapped, needing that codependence, or staying in that same household. So that's why there's a campaign that's formed, or different organizations that can help DV survivors. And that's what I have put together for tools. I have security and safety tips in place. We have products to help with protection, and some self-defense classes, and financial assistance. So whenever we're doing charity events, so for example, over the summer, we had the DV wellness workshops. For people that go to the charity events may not be victims or survivors, but they believe in wellness, and they believe in supporting a cause. Just like the golf tournament, golfers are not necessarily respiratory patients. They may be participating as a golfer in the tournament because they're supporting that cause. So that's how I organize charity events, is it just involves the community, a common interest. It brings people together. It's a joyful opportunity. And then on top of that, the proceeds are helping people in need for those specific targeted groups. For the DV Survivor campaign, I would like to use those financial proceeds to help those that need therapy services, occupational, physical, speech therapy, maybe of career change. So vocational training on a specific training, for example, like a hairstylist, going to that vocational training, or arborist, a tree doctor. So that has happened and will be rolling out to guide that career change, to be in a better financial place to support children. And that's a case currently being worked on. Donated goods. So you might find donors that have furniture or clothes or toys, resources that could be passed on and not necessarily have to be purchased. So there's different ways we can help in charity. There's the sponsorship piece, where you're helping with the event. Maybe it's providing food or that venue. There's the donation, where you're helping the survivor out and donating goods, clothes,
products, maybe even services. Perhaps you're a practitioner and you want to offer pro bono on a case. So for example, a physical hip fracture from physical abuse, a physical therapist may want to take on this case for pro bono, or lawyer or security to help escort in a case for going to a court hearing. You might have that safety, that moral support, the person to be with you during the court hearing or filing a report. We can align and customize what is needed. So at the end of this podcast, you will receive my All Care Anywhere contact information. So when you contact us, we could customize what the need is for the DV survivor. And within my database and resources, we could connect you accordingly because each case is very unique. And again, if I don't know the answer or my organization can't help, we do have a referral program where we may know someone that can help. So a lot of these cases are also directed to where you live, what zip code and where you are. So Orange County, Riverside, Los Angeles, there's endless types of opportunity and resources, and we can do the legwork to help. So yes, I'm located in Orange County and I primarily help for Orange County. I do have a case in Los Angeles and I could broaden that scope. We do offer teletherapy and phone conference. So if you're needing immediate attention, we could arrange those type of meetings. It doesn't always have to be in person because the goal is to really service the survivor and making it work for them, because we do understand that you may have children, you may have a full-time job, or you are seeking to financially become stable, so therefore you're not available to perhaps meet in person. So we definitely customize and cater to the need, and we would love to help out more DV survivor cases. So one of the phone apps that we're going to be launching helps women heal. They give tools on how to understand finances that can help with self-sufficiency, providing for themselves or for children, getting into a better place. The app is not just for DV survivors, but could be in general women in need, perhaps when going through a divorce, a single mom, financial hardship, or maybe a survivor of abuse. So it could be helpful and tools for different women. And there's going to be emotional release, physical release, grabbing the tools to help you be self-sufficient, and then occupational therapy for helping with the transition into a healthier environment, getting a better routine and structure that is more sustainable, manageable, and helpful to the person's well-being in general. So I'm super excited to share and give you the announcements when everything is finalized. It's in the making, and the first release will be end of this year and hopefully completed by January, February. So please stay tuned, and you can have a listen for my contact details in the end. So you know about the charity events, and then phone app coming soon, and then also this podcast. If you know of other women entrepreneurs or DV survivors, this episode is applicable, or even those that love golf tournaments, please share this episode. I would love to help more respiratory patients and DV survivors, and connecting even with vendors that could be a part of this process and helping these targeted groups and what's in need. So I look forward to hearing from you. And the phone app and podcast along with teletherapy really help at a remote level. If you are global or in another state, these are tools that could be utilized on a global aspect.
You can reach All Care Anywhere at 800-548-0958. You can text, leave a voicemail, and even fax that phone number. The email address is info@allcareanywhere.org. The EIN number, if you'd like a tax deductible and for donation, it's 87-123-5912. You can also go to the website and do a friendly donation or sign up for charity events. The website is www.allcareanywhere.org. That's ALLCAREANYWHER.org. ORG. Thank you.
If you're also a women entrepreneur to support our cause and would like to be considered on this podcast, please reach out to us. We would love to connect. We see you. We want to connect, empower, and inspire others. So please call or text or even fax 949-793-8781. Or our Instagram is Worthy Wellness Inc., like INC. Hope to hear from you, and thank you for listening.